Hello everyone, pardon me, we're here again for the final game of the Leela Knight Odds against GM Joel Benjamin match. Played at classical time controls. Joel is in the lead, leading 4-3, so needs just a draw to win the match. And Leela needs a win to even the match. We don't have tie breaks. It's going to be a shared triumph if the match is drawn, as is very much in fashion nowadays. We're going to see how that goes. I think whatever result happens, I think it's been a really, really great match. Very impressive, really. That LeelaKnightOdds can give have such a close match with a very strong grandmaster in the classical time control with Knight Odds. I mean, that's quite exceptional. I think if you'd said that to somebody 7 or 8 months ago before the Leela team started, then that would have been quite surprising. And on the other hand, very interesting to see how well a GM can play, a strong GM can play with enough time to just get yourself used to what Leela's doing, and then deal with a number of problems during the game. The more time you have, the more you can do that. Will we get a B4? Whoa, wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, we haven't really had a D4 yet, have we? A Jabava London system type thing. But it's a knight on B1 missing. So no, we have had a B4. We had a knight F3 to B4 actually. Let's have a look. What has Leela played against Joel? First of all, Joel's had an E4 against which he's played E5 and D5. I think he played D5 in the match. There's been a D4. It could be a London system. That's what Leela tends to play. A 1b3 is possible. We've also had one knight f3 and then 2b4. That was what we had, I think, before. And then c3 is possible as well. I'm guessing that's c3, d3. Oh, it could be interesting. Knight f6, queen a4. That was a little bit excessive. So Joel's had quite a broad range. Let's have a look. When you're looking at the past month, looking at Leela games. Actually, can I just let me just share that quickly. Replace screen sharing. Let me just show you. Window or screen. Okay, we'll do screen 2. Yeah. Allow up. Just I'm hoping. Are you seeing this? Ooh. No, it's not going very well. Sorry about that. I think I'll cancel that. I'm trying to show you the hierarchs, but there we are. Allow. Sorry, there we are. I think you've got it. There we are. That's right. This is good. So it's a little bit weird color, but so these are the this is what Leela has played in the past month with the knight on b1 missing. E4 289 times, knight f3 277, d4 254, f4 237, b4 184, 1b3 154, 1c3 25. So one of those, maybe 1b3 we'll get something like that. Who knows? That could be quite interesting somehow. Let's just go back then to that was a bit dramatic. What happened with the screen there? And go back to this and then have a look. 1d4 is not bad. A London system, but I'm a bit surprised. Yeah, I mean normally the 1d4s are quite interesting with the knight on b1. Then Leela plays a Jabava London system with knight c3, bishop f4. 1d4 is quite solid somehow. Yeah, no, there's no, but it should be normal again now. The brightness. It's just sometimes some of these yeah, non-web windows get a bit odd. One E3, E3 and B3. Leela is a B3 cowboy at heart. So let's have a look. I'll just have a little look there. E3, haven't seen E3 at all, but E5 to, yeah. It's maybe going to transpose later, but I guess, but yeah, for the moment, not yet. And we'll, so we'll see. So yeah, Leela acting the B3 cowboy. Hey, Paul. Oh, we can ask him. We can ask him. He said he did. Joel did say in an earlier interview that he'd sort of played against Leela with odds when he was sort of practicing for. He was practicing for the World Rapids in New York, and so he decided to try and get some practice like that. I don't know whether it influences. I think it's good training. I think it's good if you can put away Leela in games like this more often than not. Then that's definitely going to be a good test of your of your technique somehow, of your conversion technique. I wonder, did Joel ever play against 1b3? He did. He went e5, bishop b2, knight c6, e3. Oh, he just played the yeah. Actually, what Joel got, not through this move order, but he got this. And now, a little test here. No, Leela doesn't learn. Leela just Leela's trained and then Leela plays. Learning and playing is something quite different. Oh, thank you, Chess Lover. Can you guess what Leela played in this position against Joel before? Really asking Mr. Beads, who is virtually at one with Leela. Yeah, I'll have to have a look. I've never really had it before, to be honest. But yeah, normal is knight a3. Exactly, Paul. Yeah, Leela played g4 in actual fact. That was what Leela played. So castles g5. This is a previous game of Joel's. Knight e8, h4, queen e7, a3, a6, bishop f1. That was it. G4 seems reasonable, says Mr. Beads. Yes, there we are. So this was it, and it was just bananas, simply. But yeah, there's not that much happening in the game so far. Let me just show you the game, because I don't understand any of it, but it was just great fun. Takes. B5, bishop g2, bishop b7, king f1, rook b8, rook h3, knight d8, f4, takes. And somehow, yeah, I don't know, Leela had emerged with something vaguely reasonable and, well, reasonable and, yeah, just and sort of came out with it. But hasn't happened. Oh, d5 has been played by Joel, so that's slightly more more unusual. Joel also not really doing what he did before. Let's have a look. That will probably end up transposing now. So, indeed. So, yeah, so Joel's actually exploiting the e3 move order there. So to play the bishop to d6. Oh, actually, I think he's thinking of playing pretty much. I think he's looking at a structure similar to the first game. I think that's what he's thinking about. But Leela is playing c4, c6, and now bishop d3. Well, as Victor would say, bishop d3 novelty, knight e2. Oh, this is quite interesting. Yeah, what Leela did in the first game wasn't really doing it, but this is a bit more aggressive. But Joel's been quite clever there with the old playing d5 and bishop d6. Just quite a I think he'll be happy with the opening, to be honest. Quite a harmonious little setup there. Only interesting thing maybe is if Leela can maybe give us a bit of f4. That could be quite interesting. Reverse and horizontally mirrored perk. Jesus, Mr. Beads. Yeah, it's not too bad. I suppose the only thing I wonder about conceding all that space somehow. I got the feeling that Joel was quite happy when he had his pawns in the center like that. Some players aren't, but I have the feeling that Joel was somewhat happy like that. But we will see. We will see what Leela makes of it. But we're certainly for the past month anyway. We're out of whatever's been happening there. So. Short castles, rook c1. Ooh. Is Leela looking for c5? I wonder. I think that Joel would probably allow it. Possibly also just letting the bishop drop back to b1 and maybe we're looking for this sort of stuff. Yeah, Joel's a really good player. He was very active when I was professional somehow. So I've learned that I'm still quite a bit younger than him, fully a decade. But yeah, feels like kind of my generation. Yeah, I guess Joel. I think Joel will be sort of weighing up. Really, is Leela planning to play c5 like in the first game? Because that went really well for Joel. Leela ended up being a bit afraid about breaks happening on the queen side, and Leela ended up putting the pawns there just to stop that. But then it gave Joel a free hand on the king side. So yeah. I don't know, but I get the feeling that the way that Leela set things up here, Leela will be less worried. Even if Leela plays c5, Leela will be less worried about the queen side breaking up. It's quite a decent setup, I think. Yeah, not bad. Bishop b1, bishop comes to b1 maybe. I mean, maybe you go castles and f4, or you put the knight on g3 and then think about f4 later. Quite nice, quite nice. It's good, you know, quite nice to push the bishops there. Ray, are you talking Ray Keane, chess lover? That's the only Ray I know. If you are talking about Ray Keane, I think he's fine. I don't see him. Another Ray. Bishop c2. Oh, interesting. I was really expecting bishop b1 there, to be honest, but okay, bishop c2 is fine. Ray, yes, sorry, I realized. I realized all of a sudden, indeed. He's an IM2. Yeah, no, I've read Larry's book actually, so and reviewed it actually. So I even knew that, but slightly slow on the uptake. So let's have a look. Bishop c2. Quite interesting, this. Intriguing. We're really expecting bishop b1, queen c2. So this one's a little bit mysterious. I'm sure Joel's a little bit confused there. I mean, one thing that vaguely interests me here is the move d4, I have to say. Another move that really interests me actually is the move bishop a3, which I'm almost positive Joel is going to play, to be honest. Oh, and refuted. Yeah, bishop a3 played. I think, oh dear, I think Joel's very happy now. That's not really an oh dear, but you know what I mean. He's very happy, I think. He's got the dark squared bishops off. He's got some control. Yeah. I think, yeah, I'm not very happy here with Leela's choice, I have to say. Now, this move, bishop a3, just swapping off the bishops, is quite nice somehow. So it's kind of reduced White's attacking potential quite a bit. There's still some, but it's not. There's not that much anymore. So yeah, I mean, I think Joel just needs to just develop normally now. I think you know, a rook e8, knight d7 to f8 to g6. I mean, there are ideas. You know, White could play a move like c5 because if queen c5, bishop h7, but you're never trapping the queen, right? It can always come back a5 to c7. So yeah. You know, I think that's so. I think, you know, black should probably just nice and steady develop the pieces like that, and then yeah, just wait to see what Leela's going to come up with. But the better developed you are, you know, the more the better it goes, really. I mean, I imagine that Joel's maybe, you know, these sort of things are vaguely interesting somehow, but I'm not sure. I think it's probably not that. Another idea could be to play rook d8. I mean, you're threatening d4 here. So Yeah, it's true somehow, isn't it, Larry? Definitely is true. Joel's been much more successful at our temperature moves. Okay. They were slightly odd, the 7th and 8th moves, it must be said. Rook d8 is maybe quite good. I mean, if you go d4, you can start thinking about taking, even getting tempted taking the a2 pawn, to be honest. You know, under these sort of circumstances. Not quite sure why you wouldn't, to be honest. And the idea is simply that you want to push d4. So I think Leela's got to play d4, really. I can't really think of anything else. But then, okay. Takes queen a2 is another pawn, to be honest. I don't need to take it, but you sort of feel why not, really. I mean, there's other reasonable moves, right? I mean, there's bishop g4 as well here, pinning the knight, because after f3, I've got queen e3. So, you know, no, but I think this has turned out well for black, I'm afraid. Or not, I'm afraid, I mean, but it's turned out well for black somehow, this. So, I like rook d8, to be honest. It's just a little bit more forcing. If you get in d4, you know, I mean, Leela can't, you know, you can't play a move like d3 and e4. I mean, it's just terrible with this bishop on c2. Yeah, maybe f4 would be a possibility. That would be the only thing that I could imagine. f4. Maybe that one would maybe. I mean, I can go e4. Probably it's blocking in this bishop. Look, it's awful. This piece. You sort of get d4 for the knight, I guess, or. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Well, you could maybe do something or other. Maybe yeah, I guess rook d8 f4 is going to be. It's going to have to go f4, I think. That would probably be the best way. But yeah, I don't know. Not isn't super this for white. Pom 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 pom. Now, Joel's spending a good. Leela will find something special, says Mr. Beads. This is why we have you in the chat, Mr. Beads, for the optimistic voice. Yeah. I think the problem is almost there's too many tempting options here for Joel somehow. He really does have a lot of tempting options here. I mean, even bishop e6 somehow feels, you know, putting the pressure on this pawn. But I guess that against stuff like bishop e6, you get this sort of f4 stuff, which is maybe not quite what you're looking for. So yeah, rook e8, rook d8 feels like decent moves to me. I mean, points if you go rook e8 and white goes f4, then you know you could go bishop g4 and sort of pin like that. So no, that would also not be bad. I mean, these sacrifices are not going to be good right now. So we get to exchange off another minor piece somehow. You know, that's getting you're getting into GM technique territory. Ah, that's right. But it's your definition of a great game, Mr. Beads. That's the thing. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, we all want a great game. So we'll see. We'll see what Leela can come up with. We've had plenty of twists and turns in this match, but is Joel still thinking? He's thinking for a very long time, but I think knight bd7. I think he's f4 from Leela now. I think no, bishop b1. Ooh, okay. So this is the question: is Leela going to play d4 or f4? Yeah, I mean, one of the things about playing knight bd7 this early is that you can play f4 without allowing bishop g4 somehow. So, okay, threat against a2. And what's really strange, of course, is that, I mean, Leela played bishop c2 on move 8 somehow. That was a little bit strange. Rook e8, h3. That's decent. So Leela may be teeing up for knight f8, f4, I think. I think that's what Leela must be teeing up for. And just stopping anything coming to g4. But okay, I mean, knight f8, f4 takes. I bring the knight round to here. It's not super duper. But maybe you can do. Maybe Leela will find something there. Queen d6. That's a nice safe move. Looking for d4 as well. I think Joel's looking. Yeah, Joel's trying to get white to play this d4. Now, I think that Joel might. Yeah, there's a few tempting ideas here, but I mean, e4 is actually quite tempting here. Just blocking that one out, and then we're going to bring the knight round and come here and all that. I mean, there's not much happening on the queen side here, right? And this is appalling for a queen side attack. So I think that e4 is going to be probably e4 would be just a strong move. I think. I don't see how that's really. Not quite sure how white's really getting very much against that. I suppose maybe you go knight c3, then f3. Maybe you're not so slow. Maybe. I mean, yeah. The problem is, you could go something like knight c3. No, I suppose you've got to be a bit careful. I was looking at knight f8, f3, bishop h3. That was the with the perpetual for a draw after. But yeah, if knight f8, we could probably just take on there because this one's rather irritating. Yeah, no, I think you're right, Mr. Beads. You do see those moves from time to time, those odd ones where Leela seems to waste some time expecting a possibility somehow, something, It's not too bad. It's just a little bit quiet somehow this game. Bit quieter than we'd want. Yeah, I think the main danger for Joel, to be honest, is that you just get yourself a bit confused because you've just got too many things that seem quite promising somehow. This is the last game, Mite. Absolutely. Joel leading 4-3. Yeah, no, yeah. Joel's played very well. It's played very, very well indeed. And yeah, I think the time, I think the time, does give Joel a good opportunity to just absorb any shocks that Leela produces and then just work out a good way of doing it. But he's done really well. Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a good French in the sense that he swapped off his dark squared bishop, Paul. He's got a bad French in the sense that he's a knight down. Not quite sure. I mean, you could just, play a move like knight f8 simply, and you could even accept an isolated pawn, right? I mean, wouldn't really matter. And the key thing there is that you're opening some lines. That would be possible. I do like the move e4. I think it's quite aggressive somehow. I mean, d takes c4 is also very, very possible indeed, right? And then c5. I mean, this in principle, this seems quite. I mean, white's got stuff like f4s and stuff, but it's very, very loosening. You wouldn't expect this to be great. And I could always just play the knight to f8, then bishop d7, and I'm just going to try and get an a6, b5. Sort of makes a little bit sense of Leela's play, although the fact that Leela's played 2 moves to put the bishop on b1 is a bit strange. But, the rook can come over and stuff like that. But I don't know, without a dark squared bishop, the black king is looking quite safe. I mean, this is not silly at all. I played with the extra knight. Knight takes d4 played. So the question is, after d takes c4, what is Leela going to do? Because I've got, I've got possibilities of going c5 at some stage, just to swap off the queens, so that would not be good news. Or would Leela sack a pawn? Queen f3 or something, just to avoid, because I mean, I guess you don't do it immediately, right? I mean, you probably go knight e5 first. I'm not sure, something like this, and then c5. I mean, it's not 100% comfortable somehow. I guess you probably wouldn't want to do that with black. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty good for black, really. D takes c4, rook takes c4, played. Okay. So Joel does have the exchange of queens here. I mean, this one's interesting somehow, yeah, for him. I just get out of the, or maybe I go rook f8. I mean, I just get out of that fork, and then I just claim that, well, whatever you do to me, you're not going to win more than a pawn here. So I'll just somehow get my pieces out. Suppose Leela could play e4 and f4 and threaten e5. It might be, maybe there's enough play to make it irritating. I don't know. Sort of hard is hard sometimes with. It's a bit hard psychologically to play a position when you really, it's like playing for a draw somehow all the time. You try so hard for a draw that you end up giving away just a bit too much than you'd realized. I mean, yeah, probably if I was playing normally, I'd do something like this. We keep this like this, so the e3 pawn's under fire, so you can't easily go f4. And then I'm just I'm going to look to play c5, probably maybe after bishop d7, look to play c5. It's Obsidian was doing quite well. I mean, not really competitive with Leela and Stockfish, but Obsidian. Yeah, this is very good slicing and dicing, Naptha. Yeah, it's kind of what Joel feels like doing here, really. I tend to, yeah, I'm not sure about this c5. I'm a little bit nervous about doing it somehow, giving away too much. So, yeah, I mean, maybe bishop d7 to prepare c5, for example. That's not bad at all. Maybe bishop d7 is the simplest. So if f4, I go knight g6, and then I'll get into c5 afterwards. That seems quite decent somehow. You're not going to be in time to get anything going there. I think going for c5 is maybe a touch too early. You're maybe risking giving away a bit too much. But I think if you just develop your pieces a bit more and play for c5, I don't think you can really be in any danger here. I go bishop d7. I could go queen c2 to stop c5, but then I could probably even do that. I mean, this would be a pretty reasonable one to do somehow. Because if rook c1, I go b6, And I'm going to be, I'm just really going to be swapping off all the pieces there. No risk at all. So Joel's gone knight e5. I think he'll go bishop d7 or something like that. Knight g6 possible as well. Yeah, doing quite a good job of predicting these moves. So I think that Joel's going to play c5 now. That is what I think. Just give back the pawn. Because, I think any other move that you play will go sort of rook d1. And then you'll have to move the queen, and then, things happen. And the nice thing about c5 is if you go there, there's maybe even something like bishop h3. Who knows? And knight f3 check. So, yeah, I mean, I think knight e2 is not a great move anyway. But then after c5, we just chop a rooney and come here. And I just don't think you're going to be able to avoid exchanges, right? Rook c1, I go b6. I mean, rook a5, I just go a6, and I'll go knight c6 next move. You say that +3, +4 positions, you've never seen them unable to convert. Not 100% sure what you mean with that, what example you're referring to, but yeah, I mean in general they're still. I mean, there were some great fortresses from Leela in the last Sufi, where Stockfish's evaluation was incorrect somehow. Early on, anyway. I mean, Leela just saw the fortress and understood the fortress much earlier, but. Yeah, I think if Joel plays c5, I think the match is essentially over, to be honest. That's my feeling. If he doesn't play c5, then yeah. I mean, I think Black's still the massive favorite here, but White might have some chances to do some stuff. But this would be a really good move to play. I think just really playing on the odds, The only thing that maybe might make Joel a little bit wary is that you sort of say, oh well, that there was that game, those end games somehow. He's always a bit wary of playing Leela in the end game, but I think with the type of position it is, so symmetrical, and also the fact that he's got all this time, I think that would, yeah, that's really. No, not misquoted. It's just I can't quite remember what where it actually was somehow. That's why it's a big book, and it's been a while since I wrote it. 2019, I think. Yeah. 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021. What Larry's saying is that Naptha's got to get to work. B6. Okay, B6. I'm surprised about that a bit, but it's a good move. Perfectly good move, but. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. The evaluations are bananas somehow. Yeah, but normally correct. I mean, they really are correct normally. Oh, rook odds match. That would be interesting. I think that would be a really nice match, actually. A rook odds match. Oh, yeah. No, that's still absolutely true. That's still absolutely true. Although, I mean, I think I wrote that when NNUE was quite young. Yeah, it was in its infancy, and NNUE was really tending to shoot up enormously. But I mean, the evaluations that you get for some positions where you look at it, you say, well, positionally, I think that White's a bit better here, or clearly better, or something like that, and the engines would just say, win, forget it. And yeah, just proving it actually in engine matches. So no, I think it's definitely still true. I mean, this move b6 is quite good, right? I mean, Joel's going to play c5 here, but I don't know. I think he had a chance really just to make it nice and dead somehow. Whereas here, Leela's still got some chances. Although, because I guess that what Leela's going to do next is going to play the move e4, I think, to play f4 and e5. I mean, I think that's the main plan somehow. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Beads. I think the biggest exaggerations that was really with NNUE, you know, a very young NNUE and lots of stuff happening somehow. I think the evaluations are a lot more sober nowadays, but it's just that certain positions, you know, it's just pretty clear that, you know, even if, you know, for humans, they remain unclear and you've always think of them as unclear. Yeah, for engines, they're very clear, you know. Because I mean the stuff like, you know, the open Sicilians where white gets in this G4 G5. I mean, for Stockfish, it's virtually a win, right? I mean, you get in G5, it's, you know, shrug your shoulders, goodbye somehow. So whereas for human players, I mean, you're just used to this being unclear, right? I mean, all these Karpov Kasparov games in the Scheveningen systems and all that, but yeah, you know. So, I mean, I imagine that. I mean, if I was looking for the moves I want to play here, I'd play the move G6. More pessimistic. That's really funny. It seems I thought it was getting a bit better actually. G6 to stop knight f5 and then c5 to play the bishop to c6 somehow. That would be a bit of a dream, I think. And I mean, after g6, you can play f4, but then I think we go knight f3 check, and you know, we're just wrecking your structure here. You know, this is trivial. I mean, you know, you'd rather have this than be a piece up somehow. So what we don't need is the grand slap, Mr. Beads. That's what we don't need. What we are missing, though, is the excitement of the TCC chat, where you see Mr. Beads about to lose all of his Twitch gems. Oh dear. Joel's taking a lot of time here at the moment. That's the only thing that's where you maybe you know, just slightly. I mean, I think he feels that, you know, he's very close here to being, you know, just so good, you know, and so safe. Grand slap. Oh me, you don't want to ask. You don't want to ask. You'll have to go to the TCC and log in with your Twitch account and then do exclamation grand slap. Well, I don't know whether it's a restricted command, actually. I don't know whether Mr. Beads has reserved it for himself, but it dates from the time where I was very active on the TCC chat, and it was decided that some corrective measures were required from time to time. I do think, I think just, you know, G6 and C5 just feel like the two natural, very consolidating moves. I mean, obviously, you've got to watch out. You don't want to get your knight on E5 trap, but it's never, you know, it's not a danger at the moment with these so weak. And then you just create a square for your knight. C5. I mean, I like the idea of having the bishop on C6. It just feels so good, really. Knight G6 played. Interesting. Okay. Rook E1. So, yeah, this is... so Leela's sidestepping exchanges on the D file. And, yeah, I think Leela's probably going to play F4, Queen F2, and then E4 to E5. It's true. You can waste a lot of time in the TCC chat. I'm not. Yeah. Not so happy with not quite so happy with how Joel's doing this somehow. But he's still much better. That's not the point. And he's playing fine. But just I think he could have maybe just killed it completely somehow. No, I haven't played one node Leela recently, which is maybe a good thing. There are, if you're looking for videos of a GM being beaten, then I have got a whole series of videos on games I played against Leela with contempt in some of the unusual openings that I examined, that Leela with contempt discovered, and yeah. I mean, Leela is trying to get in e4 and f4. That is the key thing. Only I think if you've gone f4 too early, then black will get the e4 square. And Leela's just thinking, well, if the bishop goes to b7, then I'll probably get the knight into f5. So Leela's just creeping. The doc. I'm sure the doc knows an awful lot about stuff. He's not really, haven't seen him involved in the engine world at all. But I mean, he's a bright guy, right? So I'm pretty sure he's up to speed with everything. I don't see the doc very much at all. I tend to see him at certain tournaments, but he lives in Devon now, right in the south of southwest of England, and by the coast. Got a lovely house. Got a lovely house and everything. So yeah, tends to just play senior events nowadays. Still pretty strong, about 25, 40, 50, something like that. Yeah, I mean, what Leela's doing here actually is just sort of keeping things at bay, not giving anything away more, not giving any exchanges away more. So yeah, Joel's just gotta yeah, I see John more often. He's always at the London events. You always. I like talking to John. Always. I learned a lot from John as a professional, so always lovely seeing him. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose probably one of the ideas, if rook d6, we're probably going to play b4 here, I think. Yeah, John Spielman in particular was. I think he's a very modern player somehow. The way that he played, very concrete all the time. Unusual openings. Yeah, I mean, this would be. I mean, if I'm thinking about what is Joel aiming for somehow, I think that he was sort of thinking about. Okay, he's having a peek at the king side. Whoa, that's not expected. Bishop d3. Feels very loose, that bishop, but I guess it's all right. I mean, I think Leela's thinking that if you ever go bishop b7, then you can block with e4 somehow. But whoa. I guess Leela's looking for bishop b5 as well, just to hit the rook. But I would say that normally, if I saw this move, I'd be looking for some tactics somehow in a game with normal pieces, because there's a lot of connections somehow, yeah, that are forming, and yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, so bishop b7, e4. Yeah, I mean, I was looking vaguely at ideas like, starting with queen d7 and looking for, for sack somehow. I mean, I guess bishop b5 would be possible. But you could sidestep and threaten mate. And then you play bishop d7 and gain that tempo. I don't know. All sorts of ideas, I suppose. But, yeah, e4, so blocking. Just got to watch out a little bit. I suppose, Joel. I suppose that Leela's going to sort of nudge him a bit. Play f3, try and play queen f2, and then at some stage play f4. Just got to make sure you don't end up. Ooh, b4. Wow. There's a move. This really feels all so loose somehow. Against a human player, you'd be getting a blunder. There'd be a blunder somewhere. But yeah, indeed, if you let Stockfish play black, everything is winning. It is quite hilarious, letting Stockfish and Torch play out all these odds games against each other, especially the Queen odds games. They're resigning on move 12 all the time. It's yeah, this is not a bad plan, this a3, b4, bishop d3. You just, because, you sort of say, how is white going to create any imbalance in the situation? And you're kind of doing it, really. It's not so bad. It's a bit weird, but it's not so bad. I mean, the key thing is really that, and this is the bit of a, Joel is going to have to calculate some tactics somewhere to refute this, and they won't be the easiest tactics. That's the problem. So probably, I mean, you just have to say I can't refute it, and then I'll just try and play some sensible moves. I'm not sure. I think now that the knight's come here, I wouldn't mind putting it back on g6, and coming round to f4. I would like to play to get my back rank sorted. I would love to have the pawn on g6, to be honest, but I think knight g6 is maybe not silly. Maybe after taking first, just to make sure you don't get an isolated pawn. That would be quite decent. Takes and knight g6, for example. And then just try and get knight f4. White's too loose still. I mean, he's a few moves away from being settled somehow. So, all this must work for you, I would have thought. 20 minutes left for Joel now. I mean, the possibility is definitely there that there's some big tactics that are, I mean, certainly, I mean, if I was playing a human player, I'd be thinking, oh, could I go something like queen g5 here? And, I've got some ideas like bishop e4 somehow. I mean, or maybe takes and queen g5. I'm just throwing bishop e4 because of the mate on g2. So bishop e4, I'd have rook e4. Oops. And you can't take with a knight because queen takes g2. So, I mean, that is possible. And the question is whether that would force Leela to offer an exchange of queens, with something like queen e3. Because obviously that would be a pretty good result for white. Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of hard to think what on earth would Leela do apart from offer the exchange of queens. That would not be good news. So queen g5 does look like a strong move, I think. Bishop d3 did allow a sacrificial win. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It looks really loose somehow, but indeed, probably would not be a good use of your time to gamble on that. I mean, if you know that it's a win, then you'll spend the time and do it. But yeah, if you don't know it, then you've got to weigh up whether it's worth doing it or not somehow. Oh, wow. All righty. Is Leela getting desperate here? I'm wondering. I think Leela's getting desperate here, which is why this is happening. I think Joel's very close to a win here, to be honest. Because what are we doing after rook e7 here now? I mean, you could take on a3, yeah? That would also be very good. Very good indeed, I have to say. But if I just go rook e7, what on earth are you doing? I mean, I don't see any particular tactics here. All I see is all I see is big stuff here somehow. Yeah, no, 17 minutes is fine for Joel. I promise you, it's fine. I think Leela's lost this one. To be honest, I think this one's not hasn't. Leela just didn't get a grip of this position, I think. I mean, b takes a3 is quite possible. I mean, I think this is very, very good indeed, but possibly a little bit more complicated tactically. Possibly, not sure. But I think if you can just play rook e7 and then pick up this pawn. I mean, or is Leela going to try and do something cunning like queen e3? You know, throw in f4 or something. But it doesn't look right at all, really. Stockfish is just going to be laughing at us. Does show, doesn't it? I mean, the opening is really so crucial. I think, you know, certainly with this time control, if a stronger GM, you know, sort of gets hold of the game somehow, it's very hard to shake. It's very hard to shake him somehow, you know, which you're seeing here. You just don't get any purchase at all on the Grandmaster somehow. But make the opening, you know, get the openings unbalanced, and you know, yeah, it's a totally different thing somehow. I think in some ways, you know, Leela isn't like the last game. You know, in a way, I think Leela could have played much more aggressively, even taken much more risk. You know, not gone for rook takes d7, but just kept the position going, and that would have been, you know, that would have been very dangerous for a human player. So it does make a very big difference indeed, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict as well. I mean, these openings, it's sometimes, you know, it just depends on the player that you're playing against as well, whether, you know, it just leads for something that he just naturally plays, you know, very solidly and well, or whether it's something that he hard to say. But I do think there are, I think with any odds match, I do think that you know, things like this where yeah, Leela just doesn't really make any headway at all. Well, I think that the key about giving odds to a player is how much time they have, simply, you know. I think 3+2, anyone's toast, probably. 10+3, maybe the elite players could sort of do it. I'm not sure. Start getting a bit more than that, 15, 20 minutes, I think the elite players would start coming into their own there, you know. Yeah, no, I think just judging the openings nicely would be great. Rook e6. Rook e6 is a little bit, tiny bit loose. But he's going to go rook d6 now, isn't he? I think that's what he was thinking of. He's going to give it a bit of rook d6, rook d2. I mean, rook e7 is also very incredibly solid somehow, yeah. And b takes a3 is also still very, very promising. Yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, Joel was saying that, you know, he was actually resting in his own time, you know, sort of taking a little break and just resting his head and trying not to feel the pressure of the insta moving. But that's quite, yeah, that is quite nasty. But it's also good trading. Yeah, I do remember I played at one stage in the middle 90s. A Croatian player, Bogdan Lalic, came over and settled in England, where he is now, married Sue Lalic. Sue Walker, I think, was maiden name. Yeah, it's all there. Leela Knight odds. Leela Rook odds is on there as well. Leela Queen for Knight odds is on there as well. And there's also Leela, I'm not quite sure what it is, Peace odds, or where you can select pretty much any sorts of odds. So it's all there on Lichess. If you just type Leela in the search bar, you'll get quite a few things. There's one person who keeps on playing Queen and 2 Rooks odds, which I felt was a little bit excessive. I did tweet one thing. I didn't name the player. I'm not like that, but it was a 2250, 2300 Lichess player who was playing Leela at Queen and 2 Rooks odds, which I thought was a little bit over the top, really. But he got mated twice. Incredibly beautiful mates, I have to say. You know, just very unexpected as well. I mean, obviously he was totally winning and all that, and but Leela moved the knights and all of that. But okay, so I guess A takes B4 now. I mean, this is very good play from Joel in principle. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is that he's really I mean, he just had a very simple plan of lining up on this e-pawn, and now we're going for a kingside attack somehow. But okay, you know, it should just be winning. It's just yeah, you might end up having to calculate something at some stage, which as Michael Adams, the great British player, always said, is absolutely not the aim of playing chess. I mean, Stockfish would be coming up with all sorts of forced wins now. I mean, that would be. This is obviously true. So I mean, Rook D2. I mean, I guess we go Queen E3. We don't want to. I mean, we don't want to start swapping off anything. So we go Queen E3. Yeah, question is whether moves like Queen D4 are, you know, are possible. It does allow stuff like, you know, it's not good, but it allows a little bit of confusion somehow. I'd like to make something with Knight E4 work and pins. That's really what I'd like to see working. Queen E3 was played by Leela. Yeah. Excellent. It's 10 minutes, though, for Joel. This is starting to... Oh, that book, Think Like a Super GM, superb book. The Mickey's quite surprising somehow. It's because he was always. I mean, David Norwood, another British grandmaster, when he was young, he always called him a little bit, mockingly, not mockingly, but you know what I mean, the quiet Cornish lad, because he didn't really say very much. But then I think sometime around 2002 or 3 or something, I attended a lecture that he gave about his games, and brilliantly prepared and fantastic, so interesting, you know, really, really, really good. So I'm not surprised that he that a book that he's involved in was so good. He's really he is simply a fantastic player. So, okay, the only thing I'm slightly worried about here is that Joel's only got 9 minutes left, and he's just entered some complications here. Now, those complications shouldn't last too long in general, because black's so much on top, but still, I don't know. I'm a bit nervous. This is it could have been so much quieter somehow, the game, I mean, I think the key thing is, can you play Queen D4 and force exchange of queens? I think that's really. Oh, he's played it. Okay. Okay, so Queen D4 played. That's quite a good start. So Joel will be relieved about that. But there's some thingies in the air which you've got to be a bit careful about. I mean, I'm guessing, what are you going to do? You're going to take with the rook. Feels a little bit risky, that one, doesn't it? Leaving the back rank. That's why I wanted. I really just did want the back rank to be covered. I think, yeah, Joel will take with rook d4 and then f3. This is the point now. White's managing to cover this one, and if you go rook d2, I'll go bishop f1. So we're covered. We've got this guy a little bit, biting on granite, and then we've got the c7 square. Lord Sadler. Well, I've been promoted. I'm not surprised, St. Jukes. Nice to see you, Nikolai. Yeah, St. Jukes, I'm not surprised. I don't. This is. Thing is, Black's pieces don't make any sense really now. They're biting on granite, and yeah. Whereas you were so good before. I mean, Leela's going to play b5 next and pin down that a7 pawn. I mean, b5, bishop comes to f1, and then it's not exactly easy for Black to break down the white position. And Joel's on 8 minutes somehow. So, yeah, b5 played now. I think he should have played a6, to be honest, to stop that. It's a bit annoying because this knight is on h4. And if attacking g2 doesn't do anything, then you want to bring it back to g6, but then knight f5 can happen. It's just gone a little bit wrong, this has. It's not, Joel's completely winning. That's not the point, but it's just gone, it's just gone a bit where you're just a bit dissatisfied. You'll look at it and you'll think, wait a minute, this was just so clear before, Oh, really? Chess Network did that? Oh, great. I like Chess Network. Very nice chap. I've played quite a lot of bullet against him, I have to say. Probably about even results, actually. It's and he's pretty good, pretty fast. Nice about that. I'm pleased about that. He's a good guy, Chess Network. Yeah, knight d7 to c5 looks quite good, but I mean, we're going to play the bishop back to f1 probably, and then go rook a1. Bit of pressure on Joel there. I mean, he's still odds on there, absolutely odds on to. No, I haven't analysed it yet. I will have a look at it, Lorenzo. I think it should be holdable. I really do. But obviously, you know, it's obviously much more difficult than I've realised. So Joel's actually got a threat here, which is bishop takes h3. So that's why Leela's played the bishop to e2, just to stop this trick. It's quite sensible to put the bishop on e6. That's what Joel's going to do because, the bishop's just biting on granite on b7. Also makes it a little bit easier to cover the d7, the a7 square. But okay, I mean, you know, the king's going to come in. At some stage, Leela's going to be looking to try and get an f4, f5, you know. Yeah, it was possible, Olivier. That was quite possible too. Yeah, I think Leela's going to play. Leela's trying to get the rook to d7 so that you can't put the knight on there now. So you're going to play something like maybe rook d7, and then Leela will probably go maybe rook c1, or maybe king f2. I think if you play this rook, maybe king f2, and if knight g6, we'll go king e3 and start looking for f4. Rook 8 d7. Oh, rook a3 from Leela. What's that about? I was odds on for rook c1 happening. Rook a3. Why aren't we playing bishop c4 here now? Why wouldn't we do that? I mean, I suppose moves like e5, but don't know. Not sure. I don't like rook a3. I think bishop c4 is quite decent, to be honest. I really do. Oh, Dvoiris. I played Dvoiris many years ago in Altensteig. Oberwart. An open I won in Austria. Very strong one, actually. Played very well there. But he was a bit of a strange guy somehow. Very good player, Grunfeld player, but a little bit of a strange guy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand this move for rook a3, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, also taking control of the c file there, Joel. Yeah. Okay, f4 is happening. I mean, this is kind of the crucial part of the game now, yeah? I mean, I don't like this plan very much. I don't like this plan very much at all, I have to say, for Leela. I don't think it's a good plan, but I think taking control of the c file would have been much more annoying, humanly speaking, you know. But okay, I mean, bishop c4 is what I really want to do here. I think that's... Because, I mean, you know, something where you're exchanging off rooks anyway is quite decent. And I think that this is just winning, right? I don't think there's anything to be done here for bishop c4 played by Joel. e5 played by Leela. Okay, so what's wrong with takes here? I don't understand. Takes. Easy win. So takes, you got to take here, but then I play knight e4, knight d5. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what Leela's done. I don't understand. It may be genius. I may be missing it. I mean, I'm even starting to think about takes and rook d2, to be honest. I mean, so I'm a bit confused. I thought Leela had a chance there against a human. I think rook ec1, stopping bishop c4, stopping rook c7. I think against a human player, that's quite awkward. I think he starts getting worried then. Probably a good line for black would be to play g5 then. That might be, maybe Leela was worried about something like that. But yeah, I don't know what's the problem here for... trying to get some weird and wonderful mates, but it's not working. I was looking at takes, check, and knight h5, and then trying to do something like this, but it's all rubbish, all rubbish. Yeah, he's got half a minute increment, so that's not too bad, but it's getting a little bit... But yeah, I think Joel's sort of, desperately trying to understand what is Leela's idea, Okay. Knight e2 played, but knight d5 played by Joel. Oh, knight d5. I think knight e4 was maybe, but okay. But this is very good. I mean, this is just very good now for Joel. I mean, rook c2 here maybe would be quite good. That would be very good. Knight c3 would also be incredibly good, I think. I mean, you're not catching this king. I mean, I think we'll make mate there, but whoa, g4. Knight f5 was played by Joel, and g4 now. Wowsies. Knight f5 was a bit strange from Joel, I think. But is Joel maybe going to bring it back to e7? Might be recommendable here. King f2 is maybe asking for a little bit of trouble somehow. Just absorb the knight somehow, and maybe Joel's going to play knight fe7 there, and then we'll try and play knight c3 at some stage. No, he's played knight fe3. Rook 1a3. Okay. It's going to remain thrilling, I think, slightly. I mean, should we be playing something like g5, maybe? Just break up these guys. Knight a5, rook d3. Yeah, these rooks are covering quite a few squares somehow. It's, I mean, Leela's in... Leela's yeah, in survival mode somehow. Yeah, just it's just keeping things going. F5 now, I guess. Rook d4. Okay. Now, I guess that Joel's going to play knight e7 or knight b4. One of the two. Knight e7. Okay. Oh, rook d6 maybe. Oh, f5. Yeah, Leela's. Leela's. Oh, okay. But rook d7 now. What's happening there? f6. Oh, that's clever. that's clever. Yeah. I was sort of thinking, how on earth are you going to get out of this pin without, knight b3 happening? But okay. I mean, you've kind of got to take on f6 really, but then that's going to give white a rook e3 check to get out of things. Yeah, somehow Leela's making some. Okay, Joel's still good. Joel's still good. No, Leela's not making it easy. I think knight d6 now. Yeah, knight d6 will go knight d4, which is irritating. Still surviving. Well, Joel will have earned his his victory. My good, if he puts this one away. My goodness me. But yeah, I mean, the great thing about the increment is, your rook d1, rook d2. That's a very good move. That would be a killer. That's the key move. Rook d1, rook d2 is the key move. Yeah, that's a very good spot. I don't think there's anything you can particularly do, really. I mean, I can go knight d6, but then you'll go knight e5. You can't really approach. I can go king e3, I guess, and just, yeah, I can keep on going somehow, but rook d1 check, king f2, knight d6 played, okay, and knight h6 played by Leela. Sure, Joel must be going a bit bananas somehow, yeah, but with all this, it's really, So I guess rook d5 is quite a good move here, yeah? Just sweeping, and we're also just threatening rook takes b5 here. But I guess you're going to do something like rook a2 then, As always, just thinking, God, this is quite hard to win somehow. Pawns are sort of knight f4 you want. We can go rook e7 then, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. It's kind of worrying. You've got to say the the increment here is really, you see how crucial that is as well. I think, God, just imagine if you're playing this on 5-second or 3-second increment or 2-second. Just easy to blunder something somehow. It's one of those things you realize all of a sudden watching Leela play odds, actually, that yeah, I mean, there's a few ways of playing. It's still good. It's just yeah, kind of tough to put it away somehow. And got to watch out for this move rook a2. The big danger is that you'll actually end up getting quite a few pawns swapped off, and then yeah. There's one of the chapters in Silicon Road Chess Improvement, actually, where he's showing a lot of positions where yeah, the engines just sack out to some sort of rook and pawns versus rook and knight ending, you know, and somehow made a draw because the knight's so you know, so short range somehow, you know, and so that's the big danger in this position somehow. But yeah, I mean, Leela's doing its normal fantastic job resisting like a lunatic. Rook d4, that's quite a good move. Okay, we're going over to a2. So I'm guessing that yeah, I think he's going to try and he's going to take this pawn first, I think. Because if we go rook a7, then I've got knight h4, for example. I wasn't expecting king g2, actually. I was expecting king g1. Rook f4 is going g5, Leela, of course. Of course you are, Leela. So don't do something like this. That would be embarrassing. And this would probably also be embarrassing as well. So you're going to go rook somewhere, and then Leela's going to take on a7. But okay, not so clear this one, because I can take on b5, and if there I take here, and I'm covering. So I guess I just go rook b7 then. But maybe you can, maybe you're getting closer, right? You definitely are getting closer to making it somehow. Rook e6 played. Okay, rook a7. Rook e6. I didn't think that was as good. But okay, rook e7 maybe. Oh, that was a mate. Nah, possible. Yes, indeed. That's what we wanted. We wanted check here and check. But yeah, if I take on there... Oh, no, I've got knight g4, though. I've got knight g4. Rook e5. That's probably quite a good move. Although a lot of pawns getting swapped off now. So I take on there. No, rook's protected, sorry, in this square, so I can't do that. So Leela's thinking, actually, bizarrely enough. So Leela may be calculating endgame. I mean, this would work, right? I think rook b7. Oops, sorry, rook b7. You go rook b5, and rook f6. You've just got king c7. This looks winning somehow, unless Leela's got something. Why is Leela thinking? Is this maybe a sign that Leela's seeing the writing on the wall? No, I'm wondering, what is Leela rage quitting? What's the current eval? Minus 4.6 for Stockfish. Leela, Leela. Nah, I think Joel's just winning this, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, Leela's got an hour and 25 minutes. Oh, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? Oh, Larry's internet went out. Oh, you think? Oh, also not moving in the other active game. Oh, God. No, Leela's not using table bases. Other odds nets went offline as well. My goodness. Where are these odds machines running then? Are they running at Larry's place then, or? Maybe Leela's calling Dvorkovich. Ah, there we are. Knight f7 played. So h5, I reckon. h5 and then GG, I think. Oh, no, wait a minute. This could be rook g7, I suppose. Actually, wouldn't it? Oh, no, it would. I was going to say maybe you could have gone here, and if h5, then rook there, but you've just got knight e5. This is the rather annoying point. So king f2. I suppose h5, yeah, rook g7 will go check. But that's probably what Leela's going to do, isn't it? If h5, Leela will go rook g7. But then we've got knight f4. That works as well now. It's all gone. It's all gone. h5 is definitely winning, I think. Simply. And Joel's got the time. Yeah. Can't really think of anything. I mean, I could try and be cunning and oh no, I can't even. I was thinking of getting back. I can't get back now. No, I can't see. But don't say it's Joel. Hope Joel's not hasn't been affected. Oh, rook h5 he's played. Okay. Oh my goodness. Joe. Oh, I don't think this one's very easy to win, you know. Right, let's have a look at Stockfish. Minus 2.6. Definitely. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. Must be winning, but a little bit of tension. Oh, Windows decided to do an update. There was a film, wasn't there, actually, that where there was something like, needed to launch nuclear codes, and Windows was doing an update at the time. Of course, not particularly realistic to have the nuclear launch sequence controlled by a Windows machine, but still. Deployment auto chess. It doesn't ring a bell. ASMR chess. I will have a look at my mail, though. I would think so, Master Knie. I think it's probably a win. If anyone's got the table bases. Do I have the table bases, actually? Let me have a look. I'm not sure, actually. No, I think I had access to them, but they've all gone. Yes, I would feel happier if things were running on Linux rather than Windows. But, yeah, but I thought it was a great film. It was a great thing, though. That film felt very recognizable. Ooh, Rook F5. Oh, I think. Sure, this is. Oh, the book on bottom right. Table base. Ah, yeah, winning. Oh, great. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty good. This is getting very difficult, though, isn't it, really? It definitely is. I mean, you put the pawn on h6, maybe play rook d6 and then knight c5, maybe. That feels like a good... Feels like you could do something with that. Yeah, rook d6, I think, is most natural now. Then the king goes back to here, I guess. And then we play the knight to c5 and just sort of... But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff like this that's annoying, right? And maybe you need to take a few... maybe you need to take a roundabout route and come here or something. It's bananas, this, isn't it, really? Absolutely bananas. Quite hard to do this for black. Got to be incredibly patient, I think. You know, so I think you're going to have to go knight b7. something like this, and then we put the king to f4, and then you're going to have to work out your plan. Maybe this is quite a good idea. How about this? And I'm just going to put my knight on g5. Thing is, when I go to f7, you'll probably go rook f5 and then try and get your king around that. Oh God! Oh my goodness me! Oh wow, that's good. That's really good. Well done, Joel. The rook g4 to g6 coming in now. Whoa, my goodness me. How do you do this? No, I understand it's winning, Itai, but just, yeah. Oh. It's quite a lot. I mean, Joel's a bit tired, right? he's been going at this for quite a while. Oh, it's drawn now. It's drawn. It's drawn. It's drawn. Now it's a draw. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I mean, it's really tough to do just at the end of a long match somehow. Yeah. Joel wins the match. 4.5, 3.5. Yeah, I know it was incredibly difficult. I wouldn't have been confident of winning this in a blitz finish with. I don't think Joel will try rook and knight versus rook. I think he'll. Rook and knight versus rook is trivial. Rook and bishop versus rook, no way. But rook and knight versus rook is trivial. Humanity is safe. Well, if Leela was the only threat, that would be I'd be reassured. But I've got the feeling that there's other threats. Leela is tricky indeed. It's all those hours of playing Stockfish that have trained Leela. The form on the website is normally a good thing. I'll have a look. I'll check ASMR chess. I will check. Okay, normally is good. Spot the drawing resource. Well, I knew it was tricky, put it that way. But rook h4. Yeah. I'm not going to stop it. Yeah. Well done. Well done, Joel. 4.5, 3.5. Great game from Joel there as well. Excellent. Great match. Yeah, great match. I mean, thanks very much. There's Joel. Let's put him on.
A new level of tired. Never felt this before. Oh my God, it's relentless. I don't know. It's resistance. Its resistance is far from futile. Oh my God.
It was bizarre somehow. I have to say that, you know, when you got this rook, knight and pawn against rook, I was thinking, oh no, this is terrible to win. I mean, you know, you really
right.
Yeah, you know, it's really going to be very difficult.
I mean, if I have a lot of time, and maybe I can figure it. But yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the plan is. I don't even know what pawn I want, or which of these endings I want.
Yeah, I thought here you had the possibility
of rook
going
f6, but it's rook f6.
King here.
Oh God, you know, I didn't see that move. I just didn't see that move.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking rook g7 actually, but then you've got the king.
Well, I could also play h6 if that's the problem. But.
Yeah, h6 is also yeah.
Oh, I just didn't see king c7. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe h5 is better, and then the rook is protecting the pawn. So yeah, I have a pretty good chance of just winning the pawn.
Yeah, I think so. I you know, never 100% sure, right? But
I think at this moment I was getting down to 1 minute.
Yeah, you were getting short of time there.
Here I was really short of time.
Yeah,
but it's just amazing how, you know, like I think like what can go wrong, you know?
Yeah, no, looking at this position, you know, you're playing beautifully. You've got it all under control. It's all looking great, you know, and yeah, somehow out of nowhere, the somehow you don't quite understand how or why, but the position sort of changes, and then suddenly you've got to think about some weaknesses as well, right? I mean, it's weird. It really is weird.
Yeah, maybe king f8 wasn't a smart move, but if I play rooks, well, no, but I don't have time to take the b4 pawn no matter what. Yeah, so
yeah. No, I think what you did was, you know, I mean, you were never ever in any danger of, you know, anything really, yeah. But it's just, of course, yeah, you needing to think all the time just to.
I probably could have played a little bit better with the knights. I mean, but that's a problem. You have a bishop, you could just put it on a square and let it sit there. But you have, you know, knights jumping around. There's too many knights in the game. That's very
true.
Complicated.
Yeah, the number of knight forks that Leela wins games with, you wouldn't believe somehow in odds chess. It's I often do the tactical summaries of, you know, what's been happening, and knight forks, they're just everywhere somehow. So it's but it's a great yeah. I mean, you again you had control. You had control of the game throughout, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I would say the biggest surprise was all the games that I wasn't able to win when I had total control. You know, I thought that there would be, you know, some, you know, draws and losses in games that got out of control. But the fact that, well, I mean, 7 out of 8, maybe 6.5. That game where I lost a piece wasn't so impressive. But almost every game I was in total control. For a long time, and I didn't really think that that I would be able to do that. I thought that would be the challenge. I didn't realize that the challenge was to win. The biggest challenge was to win very late in the game with big advantages. That was I guess, a surprise. But by the way, do you know what happened at the end when it stopped moving?
And Larry's internet fell out.
Oh, Larry's internet. Okay. I mean, unfortunately, it didn't help me enough.
No, it's no, it was, or Larry had a Windows update or something, so it just the computer rebooted and then it just restarted. So yeah.
Oh. Okay, I thought maybe I'd fried its brains, but then it came back.
Well,
and it wasn't
everyone was saying Leela's rage quitting,
rage quitting, yeah,
Djokovic, all this sort of stuff. But no, it was just Windows doing its stuff. It's but yeah, it's really I really want to say, Joel, I really was so impressed with the way you've played. I mean, it's really been brilliantly controlled, and really giving Leela very little to go on, and for very long periods of the game somehow. It's really really impressive performance, I would say.
I was proud of that, and I just had the rapid game practice to go on, and of course, it's with little time, it's just impossible to do that. And the thing was, what I didn't know is would I be able to keep control with more time? Would I be disciplined and use the time? And and I was able to do that part of it, but the other parts proved to be more difficult.
Yeah, that is quite yeah. I mean, it does sort of show just how much resistance it's possible to put up somehow. But actually managing to do it yourself in your own games, that's the challenge somehow. But it is, I mean, it is amazing what Leela manages to do. I mean, just something like, I guess, it's just here it was just about Leela just managing to solidify the structure somehow, and then afterwards, the onus is on you again to go forwards.
But then it came at me, I guess in just the right way with. And then it played e5, and I have a huge decision in that moment because I could play knight. I could play knight d5, but then I was afraid he was going to trade bishops and pin me. And I mean, I thought I could get out of that, but not 100% sure. So if I can play knight d5, I would rather do that. I was afraid it was going to take and then play rook d3. But then I do have a possibility of knight takes g2, but then I saw knight knight e2. I mean, I don't believe it. But then I saw I could take I could take the bishop, and I thought, okay, well, that surely is going to win. But that's the problem. It gets you to make these compromises all the time.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And of course, this is winning, but now it can consolidate the position, and then it's like so many games. It's like I'm a little fearful of what it's got going. It's counterplay, and then I feel like it just dissipated, and then somehow it comes back.
It comes back.
It comes back it had two pieces left, and I pinned one of them against the other one, and then it goes f6. And somehow it's not done. It's not quite done. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, this was a crazy one. Yeah, because I was thinking, I don't understand rook d7. It's just totally gone now. It's what on earth is Leela doing? And then you see this one, you think, oh my goodness, again.
And of course, I'm sure that black is winning pretty easily. Maybe I should put the knight on d5. Maybe I should put the king on f8. I mean, it's probably, but it's these decisions it's just I don't know what to say. It's like I could barely think.
No, I mean, it's really really wearing. You must be exhausted now, Joel, after that.
I'm so glad I don't have to play this thing anymore. It's a funny thing, it's a funny thing, right? We had an 8-game match, and so we had 5 draws, but it wasn't. There weren't really drawish games. There weren't any drawing games.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been an absolute blast watching it. It's been really great fun. I think everyone on the stream's really, really happy. I think there's one, there really is a big a big romance somehow to human engine matches. You know, it really is, you know, really interesting to watch. You know, because it's so, you know, different minds, you know, and it's always the contrast in styles and abilities that's always so interesting. And you know, doing it like this in in a sort of way that that both sides have got chances. It's really nice. It's a really great thing to watch. So I mean, you know,
I don't know how much you've gotten into the history between me and Larry Kaufman, but we've done this a number of times before in all kinds of different matches. And you know, like we did pawn and sometimes move. We did draw odds, and the last one that we did was weird odds. I can't even remember what any of them were, but they were just like bizarre. Like, I don't know, queen against some random collection of pieces. I can't even remember. It was just very strange. But I feel like this is the first match where I ever came out ahead against any of his monsters, whatever monster. I think that I lost all the other ones. I can't remember them precisely, but so I guess that there's you know, some improvement there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic match. Really good fun, and yeah, something totally unique and really fantastic. So yeah, thanks very much, you know, for taking part, for putting yourself out on this and doing it, and because it's been absolutely great.
That was definitely worth it. It's a one of a kind experience, really. You know, there's nothing quite like this.
No, exactly. I'm thrilled to have been able to commentate it, and yeah, some really nice comments in the chat there. So brilliant.
Well, good. Okay. Well, I hope everybody had fun, and you know, who knows? Maybe in a few years, Larry will think of another way to torture me.
Exactly. I don't think you're going to escape, Joel. I think
I'm indelibly linked to man versus machine. What can I do?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Joel. Have a good rest of the day.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Fantastic. Well, that was the winner of the match, Joel Benjamin. 4.5, 3.5. Really good match. I mean, Joel played really well all throughout. So yeah, I think it was good value for his 4.5, 3.5. But I mean, isn't it amazing? You know, isn't it amazing? You know, that Leela can can give a knight odds at this sort of time control against such a strong player. And yeah, I mean, still, yeah, I mean, look at the score. Get very close to to maybe drawing or even winning the match with a narrow margin. I mean, I think in general, you know, you would have said that if Joel hadn't won this match, it would have would have been a bit harsh on him, really, because I think he was pressing very hard in all the games. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I mean, thanks very much to Larry for all of the work, all of the background that you gave me, Larry, and all of the work that you've been doing on this odds chess. Certainly something that I never dreamt would be even vaguely interesting. And well, look at us now, you know, watching an 8-game match and having a fantastic time. So enormous thanks to Larry, and yeah, thanks to the guys from the Leela team as well, of course. You know, for doing a little bit of stuff with to get LeelaKnightOdds working. Again, it's something, you know, where you just sort of say, I just could never believe that this was possible, you know, and yeah, it's just being proved, you know, in front of your eyes. So wonderful. That's why that's why you do chess, right? I mean, for unexpected things, and yeah, just you know, bizarre that engines can give you those sort of thrills as well somehow. So really nice. And yeah, you know, thanks very much, everyone, for the stream. It's lovely seeing familiar names, you know, who came there for the World Championship and other things, the Awanda match as well. It's always lovely seeing familiar faces and familiar names. And yeah, I mean, obviously, keep on looking at stuff with the odds bots and anything else that the Leela team comes up with. So thanks very much, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening if you're in the US, or have a good trip to bed if you're in Europe. And yeah, thanks very much indeed, everyone, and hope to see you at the next videos and the next streams. Thanks very much.